So this discussion, the sages at Naimisharanya, they wanted to hear from Sutta Goswami to give them that guhyam akyati pritchati that's stated in, where is that? Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, no? Nectar of instruction, yeah. We should, Upadeshamrita. That we should inquire confidentially. That doesn't just mean inquire about your family, your friends, but it means to inquire into the Guhyat Guhyataram Param, as Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita. This is the most secret of all secrets, very confidential knowledge. You can't explain, you can't explain quantum physics to one who hasn't been through classical physics. There's some gradation. So even in the field of theism, we find that Vaishnavism is anathema to the Mayavadi, who accepts that yes, there is spiritual reality, but does not accept that spiritual reality is a person. Or even if he superficially accepts that spiritual reality is a person, he thinks that the person is subordinate to the impersonal aspect. So he's realized that yes, there is spiritual Brahma. There is the Brahma, this spiritual existence. But he doesn't accept it as a person. He can understand that this material life is not all in all. There is spiritual reality, but then when he thinks of spiritual reality as a person, he thinks, no, that can't be. Because person means limited. Person means measurable. Measure the pulse, measure the heartbeat, measure the brain waves. Person means who's fixed in one place. We are now in Secundarbad. We are not in Hyderabad. You can only be in one place at one time. And even a yogi can expand up to 9 forms. A person cannot be omnipresent. So they reject the concept that the ultimate reality is a person. And person means subject to defects. Cannot have full knowledge. Is not omniscient, not omnipresent. A person means he's biased towards others. Person means he can only have limited relationships. Person means limited, and spiritual means unlimited. They are limited by this understanding. It is beyond they've gone from one dimension, the holy empiric dimension, to the spiritual dimension. Yes, there is unlimited. But what is the nature of that unlimited? They have again a limited understanding, and they think we have understood everything about the unlimited. But they've come up one dimension, but they're still a long way from ultimate understanding. But they can't see that. They think, yeah, this is it. And they think, yes, it's very good, the Vaishnavas, they're worshipping Krishna, it's very good. And by doing bhakti, eventually they will come to the platform of Gyan and understand that Krishna is like us, is also a product of the modes of material nature, and that we have to go beyond Krishna to the unborn, impersonal within Krishna. So they actually become offensive and end up at a worse position than the gross materialists. So that's why impersonalism is called the last snare of Maya. Do you know this snakes and ladders game? I guess everyone in India, everything Western. So this snakes and ladders, you go up, 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 and then at 99 there's one snake which you slide down and go back to number 1, right? So it's like that. Aruhya kritrena parang padang tata patantyado nadrita yushmadanga. You go up, 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 up with great effort, being a Mayavadi, and you come so close, you understand everything is unlimited, and then you say, so hum. And you go right back down to a worm in stool. That's what happens. So this is this the snakes and ladders of Maya. You think you can, again you think, now I've understood everything. When you think you've understood everything, then we haven't understood. And we again go back to measuring how big is this piece of stool, as a worm in stool. So the Mayavadis, they cannot accommodate within their consciousness, their limited understanding of Bhagavan. They'll say yes, Bhagavan, Ishvara, but Ishvara is also a product of the Brahma, they say. Although Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, tell me the verse. No, not that one. Avyakta Avyaktat vyaktim apana manyante mam abuddhayaha. Why? Krishna says that those who say that I, person, Krishna, have come from the avyakt, the impersonal, they are abuddhaya. They think we're very intelligent. We are jnanis. But Krishna says abuddhaya, no intelligence. Why? Because, say it? Anyone? You were saying? Param bhavamajananta mamavyayam anuttama. Because they don't know. They think that Krishna is also, they can only think of a body as being a product of this material world. But param bhavamajananta. They don't know that Krishna is transcendental even to the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. Mamavyaya. I am avyaya. My body is transcendental. It is not divisible. It is not separate from everything else and anything else. Krishna is simultaneously localized and all-pervading. This again appears to defy our logic. How can something be? That's why the Mayavadis, they deny form, because form means situated in one place, and how can it be all-pervading? If it's not omnipresent, then it can't be the absolute truth. There's something lacking in it. So they're stuck. They've come up, but they're stuck in this box of thinking that the absolute must be impersonal. They cannot understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead is simultaneously localized and all-pervading. Goloka eva nivasatya kilatma bhuta. He's residing in Golok and at the same time in everyone's heart. They cannot accommodate that because they still have the tendency mapiyate anaya. It is not possible. We cannot conceive by our measuring faculty. We cannot conceive how the Supreme is a person and all-pervading. They're stuck in impersonal understanding. Brahman realization. They have to come up, and they've already come up. They've come up out of the gross empiric understanding. Now they have higher still to another understanding, another dimension beyond that of Bhagavan realization. That the Supreme is the personality of Godhead, who He is the source of everything. So for the atheists and for the impersonalists, they cannot understand this. Even if they see Krishna, they can't see Him. The materialist says, show me God. But even if they see Him, they cannot understand Him. Just like a quantum physicist, he sees what I see. Right now, I am seeing the outside, there's the garden with the flower trees. I'm seeing it. But I'm seeing only according to my experience and understanding. If a botanist saw that garden, he'd say, well, this is this, and this is, he must be putting water on the tree, otherwise it wouldn't be flowering. The champa only gives flowers if you put water. So I'm a little bit of a botanist, but the botanist, he would understand so much more, and maybe this tree should be placed next to that tree and they'll mutually help each other. and so many things. He has, or the quantum physicist sees it's a bunch of energy. He has a different way of looking at it, according to his understanding and training. So one who has got Bhagavan realization understands this is the Supreme Person. This is the ultimate reality. Bhagavan. Vedanti tattva vidas tattvam yajganam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti Bhagavan iti shabhyate. The last word in understanding the absolute truth is to understand Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the person who is to be served. Who would imagine that the ultimate truth is a person? It seems that we came back. We went up to spiritual life and we came back to material life. But this person is not a person. In some ways like us, but in other ways not like us. And this the Mayavadi cannot accommodate. That the absolute truth must be completely different to everything that we can conceive of. So we can conceive of, we see everything, form, relationships. So he presumes that form and relationships, this cannot be in spiritual life. But that is the essence of spiritual life. But without the contaminating, without the contamination of aham mameti, ishvaraham aham bhogi, siddhoham balavan sukhi. Giving up that attitude and coming to the attitude, gopi bharto parakamalayo dasu dasanas. Then we can see Krishna. Otherwise, even we see Krishna, we'll think, just like Duryodhana saw Krishna. He saw Krishna and Arjuna saw Krishna. Arjuna saw, this is my Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Duryodhana thought, this rascal, my enemy. So Duryodhana saw Krishna, but he didn't see Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore he could never be blessed with bhakti, because he thought that my understanding is complete. And he didn't care. Even everyone told him. Krishna told him, Dhritarashtra told him, Gandhari told him, Vidur told him, Bhishma told him, Drona told him. Everyone told him, you cannot win this battle. You make peace with the Pandavas. You can live happily, they will live happily. Could not hear it. It was beyond his scope of understanding. His scope of understanding, I'm the king, I'm sitting on the throne, I'm powerful, I have strong friends, to hell with all their stupid advice. Who can dislodge me from my position? Limited understanding. He couldn't hear submissively what was obvious to others. He could not understand, and he was destroyed because he kept his understanding at the very low level. So then we have to go beyond vitaraga bhayakrodha manmaya mamupashrita bahavo jnana tapasa putamad bhavamagataha. Beyond attachment, material attachment. This is my home, this is my wife, this is all in all. Vitaraga bhaya, fear. No, form is very bad, relationship is very bad. Vitaraga bhaya, krodha, or rejection of any kind of spiritual knowledge. Going beyond fear, going beyond attachment, fear and anger, becoming purified by actual knowledge and leading a pure life, accepting tapasya, we can come to Krishna, understanding the personality of Godhead. So that's the ultimate, right? Understanding that the Supreme Lord is in the spiritual world and we're all His servants and we have to serve Him. That's the ultimate, right? Isn't it? Isn't it? Supreme Lord in Vaikuntha? No. You have to go beyond that. The Supreme Lord is in Vaikuntha. He is served. You have to go even beyond that. Raghunath Das Goswami speaks about that if you're not careful, you'll get thrown down to Vaikuntha. So Vaikuntha understanding, that's also, there's some limitation. That the Supreme Lord is there. We're all His servants. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Jiva Sarup Hoy Krishna Nitya Das. We're all supposed to serve Him and He's there, and He's the Supreme Lord, so we do everything for His pleasure. So He sits on a throne, and we serve Him very nicely, and that's it. That's the ultimate understanding. But Raghunath Das Goswami says, be careful. You'll get thrown down to Vaikuntha. What is this, thrown down to Vaikuntha? We're trying to get up there, and he's talking about getting thrown down. So what's going on? The Madhva Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya, they worship Vishnu, Lakshmi Narayan. They also worship Krishna, who they conceive of as an expansion of Vishnu. Or they accept Lord Ram, Maryada Purushottam. This is God. Very good, very moral, protects us, just like a father and Mother Lakshmi, and we serve Him, and that's all in all. And therefore Madhva, he doesn't accept Gopi Leela. And what is it? We can't accept this. He's our Lord, and then you find out the gopis are biting Him? What is this? Or that Krishna is running, the Gauriyas, they're telling us Krishna is running after Radha, lamenting. Radha has left me, and the Supreme Lord is lamenting. Why? The servant should be coming to him. She should immediately come back. We won't find this in Rukmini. She won't be making Krishna angry or storming out of the room. She knows He's the Supreme Lord. He's my husband, but He's the Supreme Lord. I have to serve Him. So they're stuck, and they'll make so many shastric arguments. What is this Radha? We can't believe in Radha. And even in Srimad Bhagavatam, we don't find the mention of Radha, even though the Gauriya Vaishnavas, they find her in every syllable, but the non-Gauriyas, they can't find her at all. Just like the quantum physicist, he sees, so everything is waves, but we don't see. We're not on that level of understanding. So they're also stuck in a box. They can't go beyond pleasing the Lord in a very formal manner, whereas actually He Himself prefers the chastisements of the gopis. Oh, you rascal Krishna, go away, we're never going to see you again. Krishna likes that more than the Vedic hymns. All the Ma Om Esha Purusha. Krishna likes, he's called Stava Priya, but he doesn't like. You can do that for thousands of years, and he won't like it as much as the gopis slapping him in the face and telling him to get out. Now, who can understand? We can't do that. If we do that, we go to hell. That's why Narad, Krishna, he wanted to find out who's the best devotees. He said, I'll give you you do this test. You go to all my devotees till I have a headache, and the cure is I need some dust from their feet. So Brahma wouldn't give it. He said, what are you? And you get the dust on my feet and put on Krishna. Say, I'll go to hell forever. And the gopis, he went, oh, Narad, where are you coming from? From Krishna. Krishna, how is he? He's got a headache? Well, anything we can do, give the dust, that will cure. Okay, take it. You'll go to hell. Okay, we'll go to hell. You have to cure Krishna's headache. But those who are on the formal platform, they cannot understand. They're stuck in the box of thinking God sits on a throne, we fan Him. That's true. Just like the classical physics, it's true, but it only works up to a certain level. So they want to give different shastric arguments, but Shastra also explains how Krishna is dancing in the Rasa Leela, then how can we? Brahma is bewildered, even though he's the head of our Sampradaya. So Madhva, he deals with Brahma Vimohana Leela and Gopi Leela by expunging it from the Bhagavatam. We cannot discuss this. Just like Shankaracharya, he didn't give any commentary on Bhagavatam because, we can't discuss this. This is Leela. This is discussing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But our philosophy is that everything is impersonal. He didn't discuss Bhagavatam at all. Madhva didn't discuss certain chapters of the Bhagavatam because it's just like the atheists will say, there's no God, finished. So Madhvas are not atheists, they're devotees, but their understanding only goes so far. And we have to understand only according to Shad. But you try to understand what is the implication of Bhagavan. He's a person Or person means, you think he wants to sit on a throne all day, every day, and that's all? And have you think he won't enjoy a little fun sometimes? He won't enjoy his mother chastising him, or even his girlfriend chastising him. He won't enjoy. If there is, spiritual existence means personality, so you've understood that it's not impersonality. Here is a person, so the supreme absolute truth is a person, so he has to be satisfied by service. But service doesn't mean only formal service. Even the kings, they used to keep a jester in the court, and the jester, his job, a very dangerous job, he would make fun of the king mostly. He's the only one who could do it. Sometimes he got his head chopped off also. It's a dangerous job. But his job was to make fun of the king, because everyone's praising the king, and sometimes he thinks it's funny if someone makes a joke about me. No one else can do it. If his prime minister makes a joke about the king and says, "Hey, you look too fat, stop eating so much," he'll immediately have his head chopped off. Prabhupada used to tell so many Gopal Ban stories. The jester in the court of one of the kings. So one time he came into the court, and the king is sitting on his throne, and the king said to him, because the king would also joke with him, so the king says to Gopal, "Gopal, what's the difference between you and an ass?" So Gopal looked at him, and then he walked towards him, taking 1 step, 2 step, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and he reached right out to the king and he said, 8 steps. Quick-witted. So the king laughed. So he can do that. The king enjoys. He's not all the time, "Yes, sir," "No, sir," "Yes," whatever you say, sir. But, "Yes, you're an ass." "Oh, that's a funny joke." Yes, he enjoys. So if God's actually a person, he's not just, "Yes, sir," "Salute," play the shanai, but sometimes, or even most of the time, he may enjoy informal dealings. That's more enjoyable than formal dealings. So many times you'll find these dignitaries, they're invited to some formal function and they're just falling asleep. Can you imagine how boring it must be to be a king? Prabhupada told that story of Gladstone, Prime Minister of the British Empire at the time, at the height of its glory, towards the end of the 19th century. So one man had an appointment with Gladstone to meet him in his office. So he went to his office and he's told, "You just wait outside. He's busy." Oh, okay, he must be busy. He's the Prime Minister of England. So he was waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. So must be some very important business he's dealing with. He's waiting and he's just thinking, "I wonder what it is. Is he dealing with some uprising in Afghanistan, or he's talking with the Prime Minister of Russia, or what is it? Big topic. It must be some very important thing." He looked, all the guards had gone off for their tea break. He thought, "I'll just open the door and have a look and see what he's doing." So he very quietly opened the door and looked inside, and there he saw Mr. Gladstone, the Prime Minister of the whole British Empire, very busy for several hours. He hadn't opened the door. He's on the floor of his office with his grandson sitting on the back saying, "Get up, horse, move, horse." He's playing horse with his grandson. So why? He's busy, he got so much work, but he likes to play with his grandson. Now if that man who's come for the appointment, he thinks, "Oh, that's good, I'll jump on his back too." You can't do that. The grandson can do it because he's the grandson. He has the intimate relationship. He can do so. Not everyone can do that. That's why Lakshmi cannot go to Ras Leela, because she's Lakshmi. And she'll be saying, "Oh, it's my husband," and she can't join the Ras Leela because she's in Lakshmi Bhav. So in the same way, the Vaishnavas who worship Lakshmi Narayan, they cannot understand Radha Krishna. It's in a different dimension. You have to start seeing from a different angle altogether. And it's as long as you're stuck in the lower way of thinking, you can't understand it. But what is that understanding? That is also Vedic. Raso Vayasaha. The Supreme Absolute Truth is Rasamaya. He is made up of rasa. The most important thing for Krishna is not being the controller and dominator of millions of universes and all living beings. Much more important to Krishna than the fact that he's the supreme controller of everything is that he is controlled by the gopis. That's more important to him. Just like for Gladstone, the big business of the empire, more important to him is grandson playing. Or the prime minister, he's prime minister, and there's the country's on strike, and the foreign colonies are uprising, and the economy's in a mess. But when he goes home, his wife has a toothache. That's more important. My wife has, okay, take her immediately to the dentist. But wait a minute, the whole empire is collapsing. My wife's got a toothache, I have to take her to the dentist. What's more important? Those who are very near to and dear to him. There's so many things going on, and it's all his business, he's not unconcerned. But those who are very near and dear, that is the most important thing. So if we accept God as a person, then we don't keep him in a box, that this is our understanding. That you're, okay, I'm a servant, you're God, okay. Fan you, offer some food, say some stutis, and that's it. You're God, and I'm here, and you're the Lord, and that's it. But if we understand he's a person, Raso Vaisaha, then there should be more to him than that. Otherwise, in the material world, it's a perverted reflection, but we have more than he has. So the ultimate understanding of reality is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and if anyone can show us anything higher, we'll go. But up to now we didn't find anything, and we don't expect to find anything. We don't expect to find anything higher than Krishna being chastised by the gopis. Supreme Personality of Godhead. But who will understand that? Yes, Shastra, but try looking at it from a different level. It's not just logic, it's not just learning, but we have to see that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Rasamaya. It's full of juice. Lively personality. And that reciprocation of love between Krishna and his devotees, that is unlimited. So this way we have to go progressive understanding, not get stuck at any one point. The sages at Naimisharanya, they could understand. There's more to understand than we understand. We're not there. Sutta Goswami is there. Let's hear from him. So we cannot understand Krishna by empiric method, or not even simply by studying the Vedas. Krishna is Vairaishya Savera Hameva Vedyaha. Krishna is he is the object of understanding in the Vedas. The Vedas are meant for understanding him. But simply by academic or bookish knowledge, he cannot be understood. There's another factor, another way of looking. Newtonian physics is science and quantum physics is science, but it's a different level. So just like when in Newtonian physics, when all that is observed doesn't fit within the paradigm, then we have to come to another paradigm. So in Shastra we do have how Krishna is being tied up by his mother. We have that Krishna has a mother. That in itself, God, who's the source of everything, he has a mother. So, or that he's chastised by the gopis. Well, that doesn't fit within the normal Vaishnava paradigm. So then we have to come to a higher one. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy, or his understanding, that perfectly explains. It's a different way of looking at it. Instead of looking at reality, the defect in all incomplete understandings is that we tend to look at everything from our platform of understanding. Reality is me, my wife, my factory, that's it. Then we have to come to a higher level. There is God. But then we conceive of God as someone who is our order supplier. God is this supreme benevolent person, and he makes everything nice for me. So that attitude is even carried up to, maybe carried even up to Vaikuntha. Mostly the worshippers of Lakshmi Narayan, they think that we'll worship Lakshmi Narayan, he will give us moksha. Within that moksha, they understand within moksha means service to the Lord, but it's still self-centered. What he will give me. That we will serve him, we will be very happy. But the gopis' understanding, or the higher Vrindavan understanding, is when we stop thinking about what God can do for me and start actually Krishna consciousness means think, what does he want? I'm a servant, he's God, okay, he should be like this, I should be like that. When we stop thinking about how I think I should be in relationship to God and think how he wants me to be in relationship to him, then we can understand how the gopis are ready to go to hell forever to cure Krishna's headache. Means they see everything from Krishna's point of view, that our own happiness doesn't matter. It's not a factor. That's the actual meaning of service. That we will suffer if Krishna is happy. Krishna's happiness is all in all. This is service beyond any calculation. What do I get? So that's how we come up, above and beyond, even above Vaikuntha. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is the Shastra par excellence, because it gives us entry into Vrindavan, which is immeasurable. Vaikuntha is immeasurable, but even just like the atheists cannot conceive of, the atheists and the Mayavadis cannot conceive of Vaikuntha, the Vaikuntha conception is beyond them. So the Golok or Vrindavan conception is beyond that even of the Vaikuntha Vasis. So when Shonakadi Rishi, they're asking Sutta Goswami to explain that which is Guhyam, they themselves may not have understood what they were going to enter into. The Srimad Bhagavatam gives us entrance into the topmost section of the spiritual world. That's why you're going to go and study. What are you going to go and study? Sanskrit? No. When I was saying to Gopi Pranadhana Prabhu, they're teaching Sanskrit, he said, we're not teaching Sanskrit. Now, everyone knows Gopi Pranadhana Prabhu is teaching Sanskrit. He said, no, we're not teaching Sanskrit. He said, we're teaching Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srimad Bhagavatam, through the commentaries of the Acharyas, therefore Sanskrit. Sanskrit is not the end, it is the means. And actually Srimad Bhagavatam, ultimately no one can teach Srimad Bhagavatam. Education, the meaning of the English word education, it means to draw out that which is already within. So ultimately no one can teach, but one can merely give indications, and then when Krishna is satisfied, then that knowledge will be revealed within the heart. It's not something external that is dumped on our head, but rather it's already there within the heart, and it's the Guru, his job is to teach, but to give the knowledge which is to be awakened. Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito. It's not that Divya Gyan you add it all up, and then you sit and you do an exam and I pass the exam, but that knowledge has to be revealed within the heart. So that is revealed by the submissive service attitude which is spoken here, which is another great topic which I won't start on now. But just what is the sum indication of what is the meaning of the word guhyam here, we can reflect on and try to understand. Is there any question? Yeah. We have this cordless mic? Yes, no, maybe. I think we have it. Yeah? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. No, okay. We have the cordless mic, but it's not working. So please speak.
All the while in your lecture, you are giving the main argument, but actually people are stuck up with their own understanding of reality.
Yeah.
One has to come beyond that.
Yeah. So what he's saying is that I was saying that everyone's stuck up in their own conception of reality, and we have to go up, above, and beyond.
So anyone else who's not in our sampradaya can also give the same argument.
Anyone else who's not in our sampradaya can give the same argument.
Saying that you are a stuck up in your understanding, this is something, there will be something beyond. So how do we...
the others may say that we have the highest and you're stuck up in a lower conception. Well, I think I addressed that. Is that beyond gross material, the empiric conception is that there is spiritual reality beyond that. Beyond the impersonal concept, there's the concept of the Supreme Lord as the Supreme Lord. But then beyond that, there's something more. We also accept, just like each progressively higher concept includes within it, yet also transcends the concepts below it. So, in accepting Vrindavan Krishna, we don't neglect or deny the concept of Vaikuntanath. That's there, but there is more. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always told Ramananda Rai, Eho Bahya, Age Karo A. And even when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, he's saying that everything you're saying is external, say something more. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted, Eho Hoi, this is correct. Age Karo A. Even then he said, still there's more to say. So, Vaikuntha Vasis, they may say we have got more, but even from the philosophical point, we can see that they haven't explained the personality of Godhead more than 2.5 rasas. They have Shanta Ras, Dasya Ras, and Sagorav Sakya Ras. Mostly in Vaikuntha they only get as far as Dasya Ras, but some may have some Sagorav Sakya Ras, means friendship, but the lower level of friendship. That's why we say 2.5 rasas. Lower level means they're friendly but still with great respect. So Vrindavan, there are 2.5 rasas more, which means Vishramba Sakya Ras, means Sakya Ras without formality. You can slap Krishna on the back, jump on his back in friendship. And then there's Vatsalya Ras and Shringar Ras. So that's why I'm saying, to understand, to come beyond the Vaikuntha concept, we have to see from a different platform. That is the platform of Ras. By Rasa Vichar, one can understand that Vaikuntha is limited. But in Vraja Ras there is no limit. There's no limit to the intimacy. It's more intimate, therefore more personal. Therefore, the understanding of the Supreme Lord Bhagavan as the person, which the Vaikuntha Vasis, they very strongly contest the Mayavadi concept that the Supreme is not a person. They very strongly insist that the Supreme is a person. So that's good, but we say he's a person then you have to see what is the full extent of his personality. You've only seen his personality this far. If we're to understand him as a person, we have to understand him not only as a king, but also as the child of Mother Yashoda and as the lover of Radharani. So philosophically we can understand it is more complete. That has to be discussed philosophically.
My question is actually that, not that their
You didn't get this working? Can't get it working? No.
Not necessarily that their idea is superior, but they may accuse us saying...
Because they may accuse and I'm giving the answer.
My point is that...
But they may not understand, just like the atheists don't understand, because they haven't found the necessity. They don't have the psychological or emotional necessity to believe in God because they're satisfied at that level. So in one sense, yes, Vaikunthavasi, you can be satisfied on that level.
They may even accept our superiority. But the question is that, how are you sure that this is the highest? Because there are no...
They may not see it as highest. For them, the highest is where they're at. So we're just trying to establish philosophically here what is the highest. They may not accept. And the Lord may be satisfied, because he is Vaikuntanath also. So he also likes that. So that is perfect and complete. But there's Purna, Purnatara, and Purnataram, Purnatamam. The Lord in Vaikuntha, he is Purna, complete and perfect. In Dwarka, Purnatara, more perfect. Now perfect means it's already closed. If you say perfect, the door is closed. The box is closed. There's nothing more beyond that. But there's more perfect, which in logical understanding is not possible. So Dwarakesh, he is more perfect than Vaikuntanath. And then Purnatamam, the topmost perfection, is Krishna in Vrindavan. But for the Vaikunthavasi or the Ayodhyavasi, that is complete, and the Lord may not even want them to go beyond that. If Hanuman becomes a gopi, then who's going to jump over to Lanka? So Hanuman is Hanuman, and he likes being Hanuman, and Ram likes him being Hanuman. He doesn't want Hanuman to become a gopi. When that Hanuman says, Srinathe Janakinathe Chabeda Paramatmane Tasmat Mama Sarvasvam Rama Kamala Lochanaha. He says, I know that Srinath, Vaikuntanath, Lakshmipati and my Rama, they're the same, Paramatma, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm for Ram. I'm a Ram Bhakta, not a Vishnu Bhakta. So they know. So Hanuman is Hanuman, and he likes to be Hanuman, he'll always be Hanuman, and Ram is very happy with that. But when the rishis at Dandakaranya came and said, we want to be like Sita in a relationship, said, okay, you can be. Not this time. You wait when I come as Krishna. Then you can become gopis. But Hanuman wasn't asking to become the wife. But the rishis in Dandakaranya, they were wanting to be. So this is Rasa Vichar. Why didn't they want to become servants of Hanuman? But Ram accepted, yes, you can. But not this time. When I come as Krishna, then you can come. So ultimately Krishna can't be measured. The measurement is there, but a different kind of measurement, that is Rasa Vichar. That the attempt to measure by simply through our measuring instruments, that is incomplete. Ultimately the reality is to be experienced. So measuring by the yardstick of rasa. How can we show this understanding of our sampradaya is highest? We can show, but who can see? Just like Duryodhana saw Krishna, but he couldn't see him. So therefore one has to be Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Latabir. It's a certain kind of good fortune. Otherwise Jamma Koti Sukritaya Na Labhyate. This highest understanding, and Arpita Charing Charat Karunyavati Anokalo Samapyatam Unatajvala Rasa Swabhakti Shriyam. This Unatajvala Rasa, Gopi Rasa, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to distribute, that is not normally distributed in human society. Only after a very long time, since Chaitanya Mahaprabhu last came, was it distributed. And that is not understood simply by philosophy or even by Sukriti. Tasmad loyam api mulyam ekalam janma koti sukritayana labhyate. By ordinary pious activities, one cannot understand. One has to attain greed, a strong desire. And the strong desire to attain Krishna comes from associating with devotees who have that strong desire. So it's not just a philosophical matter. One requires the mercy of devotees. Bhaktya sanjataya bhaktya. Bhakti comes from bhakti. Not only by studying Shastra. Therefore we have Atapite Deva Padambujaswa. We're saying Shastra to show how Shastra is incomplete. You know this verse? Atapite Deva Padambujadvayam Prasada Leshanu Grihita Evahi Janati Tatvam. You have the word Tatvata. Janati Tatvam Bhagavan Mahimno Lachanya Ekopi Chirang Vichinvam. One cannot understand the truth of Krishna even by studying it for many, many lifetimes. That when one gets a drop of his mercy, then he can understand.
Regarding the omnipotence of the Lord, Lord is everywhere and that he also
Omnipresence. Omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. That's the Christian definition of God. Which is true, but it doesn't say everything about. Omniscient means he knows everything. Omnipresent, he's present everywhere. And omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent. It's pronounced omnipotent. All powerful. Yeah.
So we also pray to devotees. Like Prabhupada is there. All the devotees pray to all the disciples to Prabhupada. So many people pray to Prabhupada.
People pray to Prabhupada, yeah.
How he reciprocates, because he is not God.
He's not God, but by the grace of God, he can act in some ways like God. Just like Hanuman, he jumped over to Lanka, and Ram had to build a bridge. So Hanuman became more than God, by God's grace. Of course, Ram's bridge wasn't an ordinary bridge, but still he had to build a bridge. So by the grace of God, the devotee can become, in some respects, as good as or more than him by his grace. And if you say, well, God can't do that, then again you're limiting. Of course, Ram can also jump to Lanka, but he doesn't. But Hanuman does. There was one other who could jump. Who was that? Jambavan, wasn't it? He said, I can also jump. But I said, but I'm old now, and I think if I jump, I can't jump back. So what's the use of me going? I can't give you news. So, Hanuman, you go. Me? You can do. Really? He didn't know. He forgot. Then he got reminded. He forgot his power. Because he was in his childhood, he was causing so many problems, jumping up, catching the sun, and so many things. So they said, okay, just be a monkey for now. Just forget you have this power, and when you grow up, then you can remember again. So when he needed, the power came back. Then he was no longer a child, and he was using for some useful purpose. Ramayana. You want to understand Gopi Lila? First you have to understand Ramayana. All these things are required. Like the gopis were chastising Krishna, that we know you're a very bad character. We heard all about you from Purnamasi, how when you were Vaman Dev, this Bali Maharaj, he was very good. He offered you everything, and you simply took everything away from him and tied him up. We know your character, you see. And then when you came as Ram, this Shurpanaka, she didn't do anything wrong. Any woman can propose to a Kshatriya, but with no reason you had Lakshman cut off her nose. So we know about you, Krishna. Birth after birth, you're a very bad character. You mistreat people. So what can you do? It's just your bad karma. It's our bad luck that we're associating with you. The gopis said. So you won't understand. You have to know Ramayana also to understand all these things.